Myles Garrett missed practice on Thursday with a hip injury. Didn't have any word on it, but he was back on the practice field, and Kevin Stefanski says he's ready to go. So a good sign. Garrett out there in uniform during practice. With that, let's welcome in Garrett Bush from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, as well as the Barbershop. G. Bush, a little bit of a scare because you know nobody was available after practice. You just heard he didn't practice. Looks like, sounds like, not a huge deal, but we'll see.
Yeah, the news kind of broke when we was on the show, and I said, yeah, if the Cleveland Browns want any chance to win this football game against a high-powered offense like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and one Joe Burrow, the only chance they got is Myles Garrett being out there and him being a dominant force. And so, anytime you talk about hip injury and what that means for a defensive lineman is the fact that, his best assets and his best skill set is the fact that he is powerful and strong, but he can bend. He can bend his knees and at his waist and use that hip movement and that thrust in order to run around the edge and get around these tackles. So, anytime it's a foot or a hip was affecting him, you always worry about that a little bit. But it's a great sign to see him back out there practicing. Great sign to see it because what he does is he helps everybody else get a tick better, because if you're Mason Graham, if you're Isaiah McGuire, if you are Malik Collins, if you are Alex Wright, you're never getting the double team. That's the perks of being inside the Myles Garrett Cleveland Defensive Browns line club, right? The perks is I know on third down they're not sliding the protection my way. If it comes to keeping a back in the backfield, he's never coming my way. They're not going to keep a tight end over there. So that means you're getting a one-on-one every single time when you need to get home and get a pass rusher or make some pressure. So, it's key for him to just even be out there because it dictates where the strength of the running attack is going to go. It dictates what they're going to do as protection scheme. So having Myles Garrett out there is pretty much the only advantage I believe the Cleveland Browns have when it comes to the defense versus the offense, because the Bengals are, if you look at the numbers, they were prolific at the end of the year. And I hope people don't take for granted. If you look about the last 8 or 9 games, the Cincinnati Bengals were lights out when it comes to offensive play. They got Chase Brown, they got Burrow, they got T. Higgins, they got Jamar Chase. And by the way, all of them got paid. So they're full and happy and hungry. They ready to go. They got their payday. Joe Burrow made sure that happened. And so the Browns have a little uphill battle, but having Myles Garrett will help a little bit.